Okay, CreativeDisc, this is Luthfi, and right now I'm gonna interview one of the hottest woman in alternative scene. This is a Julien Baker. Please welcoming Julien Baker.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me, Luthfi.
Yes. So, Julian, tell me about your activity during this pandemic time.
Oh gosh. Well, it's like, the record was finished just a little under a month before the pandemic started. So it's not like, I was already done with this record and we pushed it back and I didn't know what to do with myself. Um, so I actually started experimenting with a whole bunch of bizarre electronic uh, music equipment. I worked on a score for a little while. It's been really, aside from all the challenges it's presented globally and specifically in my community in Nashville, it's been a healthy time for me to
Wow.
spend time with music and reevaluate, why I come to music. So
Wow. So I'm glad to hear that you are still like healthy like in this pandemic time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, you know, I had taken a year off of touring before the pandemic started, and I think that helped me figure out, how to slow down, how to figure out who I was when I was a musician that wasn't constantly touring. And then um, when I was ready to go back out on tour with my band, the world shut down, and I realized I maybe needed a little bit more time than I thought I had. But yeah, it's been actually quite a healthy time for me, which I know, it hasn't been for everybody, but I'm quite grateful. Yeah.
Wow. So it's your current situation in this pandemic correlate with your newest album called A Little Oblivions?
Does it correlate? I mean, maybe it's actually maybe the opposite. It's that, the time I spent making this record was a time I spent in deep mental turmoil and, like really um searching myself and trying to find out, why I was always trying to access these pieces of oblivion um, that allowed me an escape from my regular life. And during quarantine, I've been forced to sit with myself and my own thoughts and feelings and to be present. And I feel like, interestingly enough, I've been seeking oblivion less and less. And it's kind of interesting, like as I go on promoting this record, I have more and more space to see the person I was when I was writing it, and to see how much, healthier I have become over the last couple of years.
So this is like Little Oblivions. It's kind of reflection album to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, now it is. When I wrote it, it's funny because my first two records I would consider, they were reflections on my past as I was writing them. When I was writing Sprained Ankle and Turn Out the Lights, I had some distance from the experiences I was talking about. But when I was writing this record, like when I'm writing about blacking out or like going through a breakup or having these heartbreaking experiences with my friends, those are things that have been happening, like within the week. I'm writing about them within the week or within the month that they've happened. And so they're a lot closer to me. And it's interesting, now that I've cataloged them all in that way, to be a year or two removed from them and see maybe how much more genuinely I was able to evaluate them when I was closer to the experience, if that makes sense.
Wow, that's represent in your lyrics on Little Oblivions, I think.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I think especially the lyrics are so much more grounded in the present on this record, just because everything I'm dealing with is so much more immediate.
So Julian, I'm speechless about when I heard Faith Healer. I think this song is a perfect representation about what's happening right now, especially during this pandemic time. So tell me more about this song.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I started writing this song from strictly a perspective of somebody who had experienced substance abuse, who had been an addict. And then the more I investigated this impulse within myself to seek comfort from anything that was available to me, the more I realized that it wasn't just, drugs or alcohol or any other kind of um, obvious coping mechanism. There were so many other things, like there are belief systems, and there are political ideologies, and there are relationships, and there are identity politics that we can sort of use as a salve to our own anxiety. And it was really helpful for me to start to break those things down, um, and figure out how to actually cope with my anxieties outside of these, compulsive behaviors, I guess.
I think like from your, I think like there's a line on Faith Healer like that you say a snake oil dealer. I'll believe if you make me something, and I think it's a kind of representation that people want to be put faith into, even if it's a snake oil dealer that that may, many tricking people, right?
Sure. No, completely. And I mean, and I, the reason why I bring up, like, religious beliefs or political ideologies is because I see in so many ways people allow themselves to be manipulated by anything that they believe will make them feel something. Like, and something can mean uh, uh, anything that can make me feel safety, anything that can make me feel good, anything that can make me feel supported. And I mean, in the United States, we've seen that time and time again with people willing to believe any kind of conspiracy theory or ideology,
Yes, yes,
um,
yes,
if
absolutely.
if only if only it will provide them a little bit of comfort. But I recognize a lot of that in myself. It's like with my younger self, I was willing to believe without question, whatever religious ideology was put in front of me, because it would alleviate my anxiety. And it's almost the same as substances. Like, I know this isn't helping me, but it's making me feel better right now, so I'll, it's hard.
Oh, wow, wow, talking to you, I mean, like it brings Faith Healer a lot deeper meaning. Wow, it's maybe like such a drug, like, isn't it? It's like you're addicted to something, and you put a faith into something, right? Anything.
Yeah, and then, well, I mean, and that's the whole heartbreaking part about the song, is that, like, I'm recognizing that it's not just drugs and alcohol that we put faith in. It's anything, anything that will make us feel an emotion. And it's, when you say it's a drag, I mean, yeah, that's an understatement. It's quite devastating to realize that maybe the things you valued most in your life, like, are indeed just something that brings you comfort. And that's hard, but it's also a very healthy thing to confront, so that you can figure out how to be a person in this world that is engaging without just simply seeking to be pacified, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, it's kind of makes sense to me. Wow. Oh, that's such a deep talk, right? In this interview, my
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I kind of like it. I kind of glad. I'm kind of glad with this interview. Like, it brings this album and this song into a whole broader perspective for me, and I can thank you for that.
Oh, of course, my pleasure.
So you're always put a heavy subject about life in your songwriting, as I said before, that faith and religion, battling with your inner demons, forgiveness for yourself, and relationship with people around you. Why you take this approach as your identity in your music?
Well, you know what's interesting is like, um, I feel that it became my identity because of the way that it was discussed in the press. But if you really break it down, anything that any artist is talking about is, in a broad sense, their faith. You know, if they're not talking about religion formally, they're talking about their relationship to the cosmos, what they believe is good or bad, or they're talking about their love lives. They're talking about something very deep and intimate. And so, um, I think, I started making music at a very young age when all of these emotions were very raw and exposed, and then I got categorized as a songwriter who plumbed those depths specifically. But I don't think I'm the first person to ever do that, and um, yeah, I don't think it's ever something I chose as my identity. But now that it is, it's like I have a chance to discuss the matters of the mind and the heart and the soul, I guess. So maybe I'm grateful for that, at least. Yeah.
So you're such a heavy fans of emo music in early 2000s. Is this music shape your musicianship?
Oh gosh, I don't know how it couldn't. I mean, it's like the emo music and emo revival music, hardcore music is what I grew up listening to. It's what I grew up playing when I was in high school and I was performing with the band I was in then before I did solo stuff ever. And that is the mechanism of storytelling I learned. That's the tradition that I was brought up in. So I think of course, yeah, emo music um, has definitely been made an extreme impression on my songwriting style. Yeah.
So what's your favorite emo album?
How are you gonna ask me that? Oh my gosh. Okay, it's such a big genre. My favorite emo album. I'm gonna
Just pick one or
say.
two
Hold
maybe.
on. I Nothing feels good. Promise ring. It's old
Oh.
school. It's old school. But I do believe that was like those were some of the luminaries of the very
Hmm.
um of what ended up becoming the offshoot of formal emo, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So right now there are many women soloists on this alternative scene that tell honesty and deep theme, deep story about life. What do you think about that?
It makes me feel happy and inspired that there are so many women that are being transparent about their experiences, and especially that women, like, I mean, queer women, straight women, anybody that's, like not just a cis male songwriter is getting um, airplay and is getting attention and is being given a space in our cultural conversation. But I do wonder if, what I've been seeing is a lot of women who make music akin to my own, and a lot of my peers are often labeled as like sad girl music. And I'm wary that that might, kind of devalue the content to just call this new crop of non male indie singer songwriters, just sad women when pretty much everything that had come before that had set a precedent in indie rock had just been sad men. So it's like, um, yeah.
So you are such an literature and philosophy lover. Tell us why you so deep into this literature and philosophy things.
I think when I was younger, um, I was an only child, and my parents encouraged me so much to read to find out the answers to my questions. Whether that was because they didn't have the time, or they were just like, go, I don't know, go figure it out yourself. But and I always took that to heart, and like throughout college, I feel like I've just had a very deep longing for understanding of other
Of
people, you know?
yes, of life and
Yeah.
life overall, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's like the way that I gain a deeper understanding of people is A,
Mhm.
interacting with the people around me genuinely and trying to make space for them and be present for them. And B, reading these portrayals of other people's lives, reading what other people have to think. And I guess the most interesting part about literature and philosophy is that you don't have to take everything that you read or that you encounter as totally true. It can just be another piece of information that you use to understand how other humans' brains around you work so that you can communicate with them better. And I feel like that's what I'm always trying to do is I'm just trying to communicate with the people around me more effectively.
Wow, that's because me too like that
Yeah.
on digging
Yeah.
literature and philosophy. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
So Julian mentioned five things we didn't know about Julien Baker.
5 things. I haven't had
Yes.
any time to prepare. Okay, 5 things that you didn't know. Um Maybe you knew this already. Did you already know I have a dog named Beans? She's so cute.
Ooh.
And I have a dog named Beans.
Hmm?
Um I play the banjo. I just got a new banjo in the mail. It's so Southern American. I know. It's very white trash, but um um gosh, I can juggle.
Ooh.
Um I know. Yeah, I can juggle. I can solve a Rubik's cube. Um what is something else? I, I was homecoming queen of my high school. I know. You wouldn't think of it. I don't know if that translates, but I was whatever, like prom queen, homecoming queen.
Wow, wow, wow,
Oh
wow.
wait, that's
You
it.
wow. Wow, wow. You are such a home queen. Wow. I didn't
It was
expect
a,
it.
a
I didn't
so
expect
wait.
Julian Baker to be a queen. Wow, okay.
But okay, so listen, I got nominated, I guess, for it as a joke because I was very butch in high school, and a couple of dudes nominated me as a joke, and then I ended up winning because I was just nice to everyone, and it felt like the greatest. I was just like, yeah, thanks for making fun of me because I was gay. I won because I was nice. Like, I don't know. That's what I love telling people that. I'm just like, you would have never thunk. I was the homecoming queen in my high school.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's such a story. Thank you so much, Julian Baker, for this interview. Oh my god.
Of course,
Wow,
Lutfi. Yes, of course.
it's been a nice talk with you from a deep talk and your story about your homecoming queens in your prom. Wow. That's such wow,
Yes.
that's so many things that this interview cover up. Wow.
I know. It was a lot. We really covered it all.